been getting some messages from the great goddess that, we need to stop. We don't need to stop our energies coming out of control. It's just more of a thing where you need to come from a place of like illumination, because when you illuminate your energy intentionally, you are raising your frequency, and it is allowing you to undergo through experiences that are enabling you to have a better experience in this lifetime. But it's up to you to decide whether you want that to be implemented and integrated into your reality. And there are different practices for that, being affirmations, crystals, writing. You need to be able to create clarity, so then when you step into the path even more so, you're not giving up. And going back to, the basics is very, very useful, because you can start to like relearn and simplify, because we want minimalism. We want to have a minimalistic experience to be able to integrate these spiritual aspects of ourselves and actually use them in a way where it can benefit us and not actually affect our psyche. I have a menu that is available on my Instagram and on my Instagram, and on TikTok, I guess. So when I say I guess, because it's basically the same thing, but yes, if you would like for me to be a guide in a certain avenue of your life, I have a menu basically that it kind of goes through all of the aspects of spiritual clarity that we need, like the crossroads, purification, protection, beauty. So if that is of interest of you, don't be afraid to message me on either of those platforms, because I can provide those services. I also have an event on the 22nd of this month. If you're in London and you are spiritual mindful and you are spiritual and you are wanting to meet up with spiritual like-minded people, then that is also happening. I will not say the location just for protection reasons, but I will say that it will be very chill, very relaxed. Just people like mindful of where we are aiming towards our energies of a higher frequency. And I have been absolutely knackered, because the energy has been so intense. Like, seriously, got me on layers and layers of protection. Protection wards are so necessary, because people can come through now, especially with where we are aiming towards, like on social media and on, our digital selves, our physical selves, our spiritual selves. There are so many versions of us that we pour out into this universe, and is so accessible from others too, to access that energy of us and be able to like tap into our essence. Yes, we are protected. Yes, we are chosen. However, we need to be able to integrate that with that wisdom into that practice and know that we are protecting that energy, because it's very primordial. It's a primordial energy. It comes from the divine. It's a divine energy. So you can't give up on that. And synchronicities too. You know, keeping an eye out for the synchronicities, and you know, just to be aligned with the truth of your truth, to know that nobody else can stagger your field. You being able to keep a time of equilibrium within your universe, while consistently rotating with other universes, is also very important. You must breathe and you must realign to the divine. And you need to connect and connect and connect and connect and connect and keep connecting, because that is your source, that is your birthright, that is your inheritance, that is your Akashic records, that is where your own library is found. Your temple, purple, you know, the crown energy. Not being afraid of that self, and actually being able to momentarily realize that this is actually all a game, in the way of the reality that we are in, not where our energies are coming from. That is not a game, that is who we are. But realizing how we integrate those energies into the matrix, the system, because, and how we can actually be able to come from a place where we can actually provide for ourselves and be able to live a timeline of creativity successfully. That is not minimum wage. You know, we are literally on a higher timeline, and for the only way that is going to extend out is if we also extend ourselves into the skies, into the sea, the earth. And that is what the messages that come through me, through the goddess. I've been working with Hecate and Osset, Mother Maiden Chrome, you know, different paths. You know, finding the people around you that amplify you and don't make things unmaterialize. You know, to materialize in this world, it creates a certain concentration. You need to be in a certain mind frame for it to be able to naturally become like illuminant. And people want to steal that energy. Of course they would. Of course they would. Of course people would want to steal that energy there. But you have to reclaim back your energy. You have to. And that is the only way you're going to be able to keep clearing through, because people want to be able to confuse you. And, you know, being of a spiritual practice for so many years, I've realised that most of this shit is phony. Most of this shit is so phony, guys. Most of the stuff that you can find is true, but it's the people that use it that's what makes it phony. You need to forget about what other people are sending, because it literally does not serve you. You must pray. You must pray. And you must meditate. That is all the goddess has for today. Thank you guys for watching this video. and I will see you guys very soon. Our set. Great Mother, thank you for bringing us truth and clarity of mind. Love you guys.